All right, you all, what we're looking at right here is the slippery elm tree. We're going to get some of this bark off of this tree, and we're going to talk about heartburn or GERD and how to use this bark to relieve that pain and relieve those symptoms. Slippery elm. That's what your leaf looks like. It feels like sandpaper. It has a sort of fluffy feel to the bottom of it, and the top of it is rough. Screenshot that picture right there, you guys. Now you can see, you guys, that I harvest bark from this tree right here. I harvested this right here about 2 years ago. And that's what it looks like when you do that. It does not kill the tree. So we're going to get enough bark right here, you guys, to do this video and make me just a little bit of this bark just for people who have heartburn when they come to my house. When I give them this stuff, they don't believe how good it works, but it works. All right, you all, I'm back out here at the workshop. Came out of the woods there. I never harvested very much of this bark at all, you all. I harvested 2 pieces, sort of like this right here. And believe it or not, met some people on the side of the road that I know out there. And I got to talking to them and told them what I was doing. And the lady is having a problem with heartburn. So I told her to try this bark right here to see if it worked for her. Now we know, you guys, that when we eat something, when we eat a meal, we got that, I don't know what you call this thing, because I'm not really a doctor and don't know that much about that particular organ. But there, you got a little flapping door right down there at the bottom of your esophagus, where your food goes through, goes into your stomach, and then the little door shuts. That way, the stomach acid or the food don't come back up your esophagus. When you're having heartburn, that little door has stayed open. And the reason that little door has stayed open is because that you have ate or drank something that makes it relax. When stomach acid comes into your stomach, that little door has a sensor on it, and that little door closes. So what people do when they eat these pills that you can buy is that completely stops the stomach acid, and that's not what you want to do. Because when you stop the stomach acid, then the little flapping door don't know to close anymore. So that defeats the purpose, and especially for people who are laying down at night, and I used to do the same thing, you guys. So it's caused by too much, for me it was too much caffeine, and I think this lady has the same issues. It's caused by drinking too much coffee, and caffeine causes that little door to stay open. And when the stomach acid hits it still don't close, it just stays relaxed. So it doesn't work properly. So then you get that GERD, or that stomach acid, coming up in your stomach. So this does not cure GERD or anything else, you guys. This simply coats and soothes out and stops that stuff from irritating your esophagus. So what you want to really do, instead of taking pills or having to take this plant right here or this bark off of this tree, is to adjust your diet until it don't happen anymore. Many people, especially alcoholics, sorry to say, have heartburn all the time, especially when they go to bed at night. They've drank, 25 beers. Well, you're going to have heartburn because your stomach acid, that little door is relaxed. you've drank too much and that stuff will come back up in your throat. And it's terrible. It makes you throw up and everything else. But I'll never give anybody this stuff, you guys, and that's the reason that I harvest it. I don't harvest it anymore because I need to use it. I harvest it to have some on hand so that when somebody comes to see me and they start talking about heartburn, that I can introduce them to Slippery Elm. At the Battle of Valley Forge, they lived on Slippery Elm. They actually cut these trees down, stripped the bark off of them, and turned them into slimy cereal. And when I say slimy, you guys, this is some slimy stuff. It does not have a bad taste, and when it's dry, which is what I'll do with this plant right here, you can see what I'm doing. I'm cutting it into little thin strips. By the way, the Indians used to use this for, they used to make cordage out of this as well, because they'd cut it off in big long strips. Anyway, the soldiers at Valley Forge survived off this stuff. Otherwise, they would have starved to death. But by then, they knew, by living in this country, what some of the trees that they could eat to survive on. So this is Slippery Elm. Like I say, this is not a cure for heartburn or GERD. This simply coats your entire digestive system from your mouth all the way down through your gut. And I introduced my brother to it several years ago, probably 10 years before he retired. He was suffering terribly with it. He drove a train for a living. He suffered terribly with it. And when I introduced him to Slippery Elm, he don't go anywhere without his Slippery Elm. I guess he didn't adjust his diet, but still yet he knows when he takes the Slippery Elm, he's not going to have the issues, okay? You don't want to stop your stomach from producing acid. How could your digestive system work correctly if you didn't have no acid in your stomach? That's what some of these pills that you take do. You take the pills, they say this stops your stomach acid for 24 hours. Well, guess what? For 24 hours, your body can't digest nothing in your stomach. So that don't make any sense, because then your digestive system's not working correctly. Then you get bloated, then you get gas, then you still get this stuff coming back up your throat because your body cannot digest your food. It starts in your mouth by chewing, saliva, goes down your throat, gets in that stomach acid, then it goes out into your body. That's pretty simple, isn't it? That's the way it works. So like I say, this is not a cure. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying, hey, you guys, run out there and grab you some Slippery Elm bark and cram it down your throat. But once you try this, if you're suffering from it and you want to continue on eating and drinking and being merry, then this is one of the things you can take. You can buy it right over the counter right now in pill form. But I take it and turn it into pill form by simply drying the bark and pounding it up, just like the Indians did. It was also used, guys, to draw out if you had like a thorn or something in your flesh. If you had something stuck in your flesh, it would help draw that out because it's slimy, it keeps it moist, and it will let that, it will cause that item to come back out of the flesh that it's stuck in. Thorns, you get splinters and things like it in your flesh. That's one of the things the Indians used it for, to treat wounds. And it is a good wound treater. With that, you all, may the good Lord bless you. I hope you had a great Sunday. Thank you, folks, who watched me preach this morning. I hope you were blessed. And like I said before, have any questions, email me at readmike279@gmail.com. readmike279@gmail.com. Have yourself a wonderful day, you all.